As we're getting settled in for the relaxation and the inquiry, just to notice at first what those words bring up. We're doing a practice around forgiveness. Our minds are very skilled at associating. We associate one thing with another, with another, with another. And we have a memory bank of memories and experiences that we've had that relate. And sometimes when we watch our thoughts, we can see how these associations work. We'll think of one thing and then all of a sudden we'll be lost in thought, and then we'll come back to it and go, how did I get from there to here? And then if we look, we can see there's these steps that actually make sense. So one thing that we can count on when we're doing an inquiry, or when we're not doing an inquiry, when we're just moving throughout the day, is that these associations that we have stored will come forward, and the less resolved they are, the more power that they'll have to grab our attention. And the less resolved they are also means the more energy that they have in the body. So there's some kind of an energetic charge to memories and experiences that mean something to us, both positive and negative, compared to a memory that's a bit more neutral. And we also have our core deficiency stories that get triggered all the time by all kinds of things in a big way or a small way. It's not hard to understand why most of us don't have a lot of peace and quiet in the mind with all this association going on. Bring your attention to your experience right now and let the associations move to the side just for a minute. So whether it's thoughts as words or images, or if it's sensation in the body, we're not trying to push it away. We're just not going to pay 100% attention to it for a few minutes. It's good to establish a resting pose before we go into an inquiry. So even though we might be feeling a little bit stirred up or thoughts might be coming in, right now just focus mostly on the experience in your body and your breath. When we tune into the body from head to toes, we'll often find that there's some tightness or contraction there. And we can be super tight, or we can just be a little bit tight around something. So notice what your experience is now, and whether you have big contractions and tightness that you could relax, or whether it's more subtle. There's usually a little bit more softening that we can do. So take a few deeper breaths, and as you're noticing your body from head to toes, allow the tight spots to soften. We could check the habitual trouble spots, the forehead and the eyes. The mouth and our jaw. When we're dealing with an inquiry that has words that are said, aren't said, wish to be said, wish they weren't said, there tends to be some energy in the jaw and the mouth, the tongue, the vocal cords. Notice what's going on there. And check the back of your neck, your shoulders, the large muscles of your upper back. Allow them to relax away from the ears. Let your whole upper back and neck settle. And bring your attention to the front of your body, back up through the face again. Notice your forehead and eyes, your mouth, the throat, and then down into the chest and the stomach area. Some parts of the body, we're noticing the movement with the breath. We definitely notice that in the stomach and chest. It's very understandable that our breath would be affected by emotions and thoughts. And it's really helpful to anchor into a smooth, continuous breath as we're doing inquiry. So see if you can just focus on that for a moment now. As you come to the end of your out breath, let yourself come right into the in breath without any gap or pause. And as you come to the end of the in breath, let yourself go into the out breath and feel your whole body relax. Anchor yourself to that continuity of the breath, especially at the transition points. When we keep our attention really focused on the transition points of the breath, the mind tends to be quieter. And be aware of the whole body again, the head and the torso, the arms and the legs. Notice the energy in your body. A really easy way to keep involved with and keep track of what's happening in terms of being triggered by things is to really be paying attention to the body. The energy in our body responds very reliably to thoughts that have a trigger on them or that have a charge on them. So let's start looking now. And as you're starting to look and through the inquiry, keep in touch with your breath. Energy comes and goes, it's stimulated by something, and we pay attention to it and it relaxes. Sometimes when we're paying attention to it, it gets more intense. There are often words and images that come up with the energy. One of the wonderful things about inquiry is that there's no right or wrong way to do this. We're really just looking to see what is it that comes up when I look at this. We're seeing our own experience. We're seeing our own reactions and responses. Let's start by looking at this word forgiveness. And you might have a sentence around it. It might be just the word, I forgive this person. I forgive myself. Forgiveness, whatever it is for you, have a look at the words. Hear the sounds. And if your mind works in a way that you could bring it up in front of you and have a look at the letters and shapes, that's good too. If not, that's fine. It might be, I can't forgive this act, this person, myself. And as we're noticing, we're allowing ourselves to pay attention to what the words are that are coming up. There might be images, and that's fine too. You could put those up, use the words kind of like a caption. If there's a lot, you could make a collage out of it and see that. Let's take a few minutes here being aware of the breath and of the energy of our responses. And look to see if the words and images are a threat. If somehow They could hurt you if you're having a response to them in your body. Notice if you're getting distracted by something that's unrelated. And if you are, bring yourself back. Look at the words, maybe the images. Look to see if the discomfort or the charge, if you're feeling some, has to do with the words or the images. Could those words cause something? Could they hurt you? Do they feel threatening or something uncomfortable about them? Same with the pictures. And if it feels like that's a yes, that it's the shapes or the size, the font, the color, there's something about the words that feels intense, or the sounds of them, the words you're hearing or not hearing that you want to hear. Or maybe it's the images, the memories that are coming up as visual images. See if you can notice that all of those words and images are coming up in space. We're looking at them, we're seeing them. We're not in a situation right now at this moment. We're looking at associations that come up when we're doing this inquiry into forgiveness. There might be lots going on in the body or nothing, but we'll come to the body in a minute. Just looking again. Is there something about these words or images that feels like that's where the charge is? And if that's a yes, then see if you can bring that up in your mind's eye and put some space around it, like it has a frame and there's empty space on the outside. You could also shift the whole thing up to one corner of your vision so it's not taking up your whole visual field. You could trace the space around the outside of the image, just the space, not the images. Go clockwise a few times, counterclockwise a few times. And then keeping the images and the words right in your attention, bring your index finger, middle finger up to your forehead and tap on that point just between the eyebrows. And as you're looking at the picture, gradually turn your attention to the sensation of the tapping. And then bring your hand down. Reconnect with your breath. And then let's go into the body and see what's happening. Really pay attention now to the energy on kind of a non-verbal level. So if lots of words or images are coming up, you could keep working with those. Otherwise, see if you could work directly with the energy. So notice where in your body you feel an energetic response to the words that you're looking at. So repeat the words to yourself or see those images again. And where do you feel that in your body? Where's the response? Just give yourself some time. We're just looking to see what's happening. Stay connected with your breath too. And sometimes an energy feels like it's possible to pay attention really closely, bring our attention right into the very center of that location where the energy is. Other times it feels like that's not such a good idea, and then we could notice more the space around it. Just like with words, we're looking at an image that will take up our whole visual field, and then we put a frame around it and notice there's actually space around that image. We do that with sensation too. We pay attention to it. And we also notice that there's an edge or an ending to it. If we have a sensation in our heart center, it might come up into the throat. We probably don't feel it out into our elbows or our toes. Or maybe we feel it in our whole body, but we don't feel it out a few feet behind us. Just the energy itself. Let yourself attend to that energy. And when we're focusing on the energy, words and images might come up, memories. We could have a look at those too. And see if you can hold all of this, whatever it is that's coming up, with kindness and compassion. If you're noticing any judgment or shaming thoughts, pull them up, have a look at them. Notice the words, the shapes, the associated images if there are. You could put space around them, you could bring them up and then tap between your eyebrows as you're looking at it and focus on the tapping, not the image. See if you can be open to whatever it is that's coming up. And don't let it capture your complete attention. Keep a bit of awareness on the breath and on that intention to be kind to yourself. And go where your attention is going if you're going to words or images. And then come back to the energy. Or maybe it's the energy itself that has your attention and you're exploring what that feels like, where it is in your body. Does it feel threatening, or does it feel like, even if it's intense, that it's okay that it's here? Notice your own direct experience. We're paying attention to the mind, to the thoughts, and to the energy in the body. Forgiveness can be complicated. There might be a lot of thoughts coming up about it, a lot of justifications, anger, regret, all kinds of emotion. One of the benefits of a short inquiry practice like this is just to flush it out, see what it is that's here, and then we could spend a longer time on it. Sometimes it's very familiar, and sometimes we're kind of surprised by what's associated with something. Before we finish, try this sentence: I forgive, and then add the rest of the sentence yourself. Myself, this person, I forgive. And there could be a lot of thoughts about that come in when we look at those words. And notice the energy too. What does the energy feel like, even with all of the flurry of thoughts that might be there? And then see if there's a sense of open curiosity, of gratitude that this has come forward to be seen. If there's a willingness to look at it again, to be present with the energy and the thoughts that are coming up around it. And whatever the answer there is fine. Sometimes things aren't ready to be really worked with directly yet. And we can always work around the edges of something. We can work around the edges of energy. We can work with all kinds of less direct ways of attending to the issue. And sometimes we're ready to just dive right into it and really have a look, and the words and the Velcro releases. The energy shifts and changes. So we obviously have a preference for letting these things go easily, and sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. And see if you can be okay with that. And come back to your body and your breath, let go of the inquiry. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.